Yes. Anyway, my question to you, Frank, was because you talked about coaching Demetrious Johnson. Can you talk about how that came to pass and
Okay.
what that was like? I mean,
So
he's
here's how
one
DJ
of the
came about.
greatest of all
So
time.
he saw the first season. I moved to Seattle around the time of the first season of Ultimate Fighter, like 2004. That's when the first one came out. And MMA was not really anywhere. Like it wasn't like it is today. And I really believe that Spike TV
They
and
saved
Ultimate
it.
Fighter,
They saved it.
they
Yeah.
needed each other. Like Spike TV needed something like we're the man's network. Remember, that's what their deal was. We're for
Oh
men.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
okay, so let's get this reality show that's like the
Sexist.
real life
Terrible.
on steroids. Like have these athletes that are going to fight each other.
Yeah, it's like
Stick them
all
in a
for
house
men.
for the drama, and then and now when you go to watch UFC, you're like, oh, I know that guy. I saw him on TV. So everybody got interested in it. Like oh yeah, these guys, these fighters, like they're people. Let's watch them. So that blew it up because there was when my battery, for some reason my battery's running low.
All right,
Stick it in.
It's
all right.
plugged in.
Let me take this opportunity actually to do the news. Because I forgot about that.
We're still doing that?
Hey, guys. So every story with Frankie is as follows. So Frank, how did you what happened? How did you find that quarter on the ground 15 minutes ago? So in 1945,
And what is a
what you got to
quarter
understand
anyway,
is that
you know?
the first Kung Fu movie came out in 1945, and they had a big inspiration on me picking up that quarter.
I had a 50 cents in my pocket one time.
Frank, I just roasted you. I don't know if you heard of it.
I heard it.
Okay.
I'll tell you about the quarter later, though. Okay, so you want to do the news, or do you want me to tell you about DJ?
No,
Oh
DJ.
no, I was just doing it so that your battery could be in. But
Okay.
honestly, like I'm good. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So the first season of Ultimate Fighter came out. DJ saw it, and he's like, and he was a wrestler. He was a high school wrestler at the time. So his experience for combat sports before that was 3 years of high school wrestling. And this is what's cool about DJ. His first 2 years competing, he'd never been taken down. So in his third year, he was on his butt for the first time. And he's like, whoa, this is new to me. I've never been here. Like he was that good of a wrestler. But he didn't decide to go to go further and the college stuff. He wanted to try the sport. So there was AMC where I uprooted my life because I'd wanted to move to AMC since 98, 99. I finally moved there in 2004, and then after about 8 months, Matt asked me to teach, so I started teaching, and then I would go. There was 2 locations. There was one down. It's called the Super Mall, this big mall down in Auburn, and they had a Vision Quest named after the movie because Matt partnered up with a wrestler, Brad something. He had Vision Quest, and it was a huge gym, and then it had a boxing ring. MMA ring, and then later on they actually got a pro wrestling ring in there, so you could bounce off the ropes and bounce off the floor, like they're really springy. But they had pro wrestling there too, and just more weights and this huge like windows, like people walking in the mall could see you, and I guess it was great for advertising. So Matt was having Matt's wife was having their first baby, so and I know how these things work. It's like, oh, until the baby's born, can you go down to Auburn on Thursdays and help Steve? That was another guy that came to AMC to be a fighter, but he became a coach of DJ and a lot of other guys from the Auburn location. So I would go down Thursdays, and the baby was born, and then I was still going down there Thursdays. Like Matt would come down, Saturdays or every other Thursday, but it was now my job to go down there on Thursdays. So I met DJ when he was down there, and he was just, he was a student like everybody else, learning the way, but he was just, tenacious. He just, like when I stopped teaching down there, this is the stories you'd always hear. Like if someone was extra tired or they're run down, they're like, oh, what happened? Oh, DJ. Because he'd run through people. Because everybody was bigger than him, right?
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I guess 10 years later, he goes and armbars Ray Borg in that highlight where he picks him up and then armbar.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. That was crazy.
Yeah, I got here in 2015. So actually 5 years before that was his first fight in the WEC, and almost 5 years to the day because it showed up on my Facebook like you were here. I was taking a picture from. He's a brand new fighter, so friends and family get seats way up in the back of the stadium, right? So I'm sitting behind all these other people's and their families, and obviously someone's coach 2 rows in front of me because this guy was yelling out numbers to everybody. I think it was everybody's coach sitting in front of me in the back row because he was louder than anybody in the gym. And this guy's like, jab cross, take him down. Actually, you didn't know him at all. He was the loudest guy in the place. And then 5 years later, when I came out here for a quick visit, I was driving I closed my gym in LA, and I was driving across the country to help another legend in the sport here, Shaw Franco, who trained all of us, a lot of MMA fighters. He was going away for like 3 to 6 months to Japan, so I took over his school and lived in the back for that time. This is 2015. And then I got a call that DJ was headlining the show in Montreal. So I got a couple of the good tickets. This time, though, since he's not just like a starting fighter, but he's like the main event, now the family friend seats were the best because I was like sitting right next to Chuck Liddell, and behind me was an actor who Luis Guzman. So I see the name, and I'm thinking, oh, there's a fighter named Luis Guzman, not thinking it's the actor. And I turn around, and it's Luis Guzman. And for some reason, it's been years since I've seen Blood In, Blood Out, and this is my most embarrassing moment that I didn't even figure it out. He's not in Blood In, Blood Out. There's this other actor that only looks like him when he moves his eyes a certain way. So I got a still of the guy. His name's Popeye in the movie. So I meet Luis Guzman, and I'm like, oh, man, we always do this that your character did in Blood In, Blood Out. So I go on for like 5 minutes. If someone has red